Hi, teacher. This is our final task. We are the group 5, and let's begin with the task number 1 is analyze legal idioms in context. The worst idiomatic expression from the fragment is left, lead the church, pull the plough, smooth things over, back to the drawing board in black and white. The idiom's meanings in living large is to be abandoned or difficult situation without help, and pull the plug is to abrupt stop or cancel a project or agreement. Idiom smoothing over is to calm a disagreement and restore a good relationships. The idiom back to drawing board is to start over with a new plan because the previous one failed. The idiom in black and white is because to have something written down formally, leaving no room for no doubt. My partner Maria will show the next task.
The usually idiomatics languages made our negotiation sound more professional and natural. The idiomas help explain legal idiom clear and efficient. They also gave the dialogue a formal but friendly tone, or they made the communication solder and more again.
Next task will show about my partner.
The HT31 roleplay adversary we really need to protect our intellectual property. We can't give full access to the shortcut adversary. I understand, but we also need more flexibility in usage real let's three to things come group here at Victor. I I agreed, but we have to draw a line somewhere patents can be modified or shared at Victor be explained.
The next task is will show my partner Paulo.
Good evening, teacher. My name is Pablo Mendoza, and I'm going to present the page 32 Legal Idiom Rule Challenge. At Company A, the first paragraph is before we begin, let's lay our cards on the table. We want to be fully transparent about our concerns with content usage. Company B, that's fair. We've been trying to hammer out a deal since the last draft, but your IP restrictions are too tight. Company A, we're willing to negotiate licenses terms, but we must draw a line when it comes to proprietary design elements. Company B, that's the case. We may need to go back to square one. These conditions limit our development options too much. Company A, we don't want to play hardball, but our clients' data privacy is non-negotiable. Company B, look, we're still interested. Let's find common ground that protects both parties and keeps that moving. Company A, we've sent you reverse terms. Now the ball is in your court. Let us know how you wish to proceed.
The next task is
Social question. Are idiomatic expressions useful or dangerous in legal language where precision is crucial? The answer is idiomatic expressions can be dangerous in legal language because they may cause ambiguity and misinterpretation, and legal communicating requires clarity, objectivity, and precision, and idioms often depends on cultural or contextual meaning that not everyone understands in the same way. For example, expressions like the ball is in your court or in black and white could confuse non-native speakers or be interpreted differently in various jurisdictions. However, in some informal contexts, idiomatic expressions might be useful for simplifying or illustrating complex ideas when I speak to non-specialists or clients. They can make communicate no more natural and relatable that they use never appear in official documents, contracts, or legal arguments when everybody words must have a precise and verifiable meaning. Conclusion. The conclusion is that idiomatic expressions are mostly dangerous in legal language because they threaten the accuracy and neutrality like laws demands. Legal professionals must prioritize price, literal, and universality understood language to avoid misinterpretations and insurance justice. Thank you.
The next task is the group discussion on negotiation in idioms. Our discussion is reevaluate the idioms for negotiation and deals. We concluded that these expressions are powerful tools, but must be used carefully. Idioms like on the same page and mid halfway are excellent to building consensus and showing a collaborative spirit. In contrast, phrases like dry a hard bargain can sing more competitive tone, while pull the plug signals a definitive end of discussion. Our takeaway is that effectiveness of these idioms depends heavily on the context and the relationship between the parties. In a friendly negotiation, they can make the conversation feel more natural in a formal or international setting. However, they could cause confusion. Therefore, a good negotiator must have high emotional and cultural intelligence to know when, how, and to use them to seal deal effectively. The next task is the guidance question to support the discussion. Um, Coffee shops of our group, our interpretation was to be a main decision maker with a final authority. One example is for this project marketing strategy, Sarah will call the shots. What a word to bring leaderships is step to the plate because it's meaning to voluntarily take responsibility, especially in a crisis. One example is when your manager got sick, Maria stepped up to the plate to lead a team. One word is the buck stop here because it's a declaration that you accept a final responsibility and will not blame others. One example is as a project director, I want to be clear. If anything goes wrong, the buck stops here. And one word is pass the buck because to blame someone else or shift responsibility to another person. One example is instead of solving the problem, he just tried to pass the buck to the each department. And the last will lead by example because to show others the right way to behave through our action. One example is a great leader doesn't just give orders, they lead by example by working hard.
Can idioms cause confusion in formal legal writing or international negotiation? Yes, idioms can cause confusion because there are many are often cultural and not literal. In legal writing or negotiation, clarity is essential. So using idioms like give the green light or the same page may confuse non-native speaker or lead to minister preparation of legal intention. In number two, are idioms helpful for expressing tone, emotion, or flexibility during informal legal conversation? Well, yes, in informal setting, they can make the conversation sound more natural and friendly. For example, saying let's touch base later instead of the let's discuss this again can soften that tone and make communication smoother between colleagues. In number three, should legal professions avoid idioms altogether or learn to use them carefully? They should learn to use them carefully. Avoiding idioms completely can make a speech sound too right, but using them without appearances can use misunderstanding. Professionals should understand, can know idioms, and know when they are appropriate. And number four, can the use of idioms create misunderstandings in cross-cultural legal contexts? Why or why not? Well, yes, yes. Idioms are often culturally specific. For instance, the idiom to the play hardball may sound aggressive or disrespectful in cultures where direct is not valued. Misunderstandings like this called are negotiation professional relationship. And finally, number five, should legal professionals be trained or reconcile and interpret idioms, even if they don't use them often? Explain your answer with an example. Yes, understanding idioms helps professionals interpret informal email or spoken language from clients and partners. For example, if a client say we're the same boat, a lawyer should recognize that it means we share the same problem or situation, not something illiteral.
Well, and finally, are the solo process. Well, our group, but y'all answer was yes. And this is the final teacher. We're well grateful with all the knowledge that you bring, and this is all. Thank you.